So first of all, I apologize for this thick French accent. This is really mine, it's not a joke. When I was a teenager, you know, I was told that British girls really enjoy the French accent, so I never really worked on it. And it took me 20 years to realize that it's sadly untrue. But it's still there anyway. So I'm here to talk about a revolution. You know, we the French, we have a thing on revolution. And nothing mean with the royalty, that would not be the right day. Talk about the seaweed revolution. So if you think that seaweed is slimy, smelly, and unsexy, it's time to get over it. I mean, seaweed is part of our future, and seaweed is sexy. So, yes, it is. So, first of all, how it has started for me with this seaweed revolution thing. I worked 20 years in the food industry. And over these 20 years, I realized that our food systems are the biggest contributor to climate change, to water scarcity, to biodiversity loss, and somehow to social injustice. And in the meantime, I also realized, working in Africa, that 1 billion people are starving in this world. We are lucky enough to ignore it today, in this place at least, to be in a position to ignore it. But that's a reality. So, so we have a big situation, and at the same time, we have a fast-growing population very demanding on proteins and calories, with 300,000 people in addition every day on the planet to feed. So twice the size of this city every day in addition to be fed. Long story short, if we want to feed the entire world in the next 50 years or so, we will have to produce as much food as we ever produced as human beings over the last 10,000 years. In the meantime, the yields are stable, the cities grow bigger and bigger, and there are less and less arable land. So there's no way we can make it on land, clearly. But if you step back, you realize that our planet is blue. It's blue and like the ocean. And the ocean, they cover 70% of our planet. And they contribute today in calorie to less than 2% of our food. So why that? I mean, especially here we are surrounded by waters. So the idea was, how can we, I mean, we moved from prehistory to modern history back to 1,000 years ago when we stopped being hunters-gatherers and became farmers. But that was only on land. And we are still in the Stone Age when it comes to the ocean. Not all of us, because in Asia, seaweed farming, ocean farming is already a reality. I mean, they produce 36 million tons of seaweed in Asia. Why only one region in the world has learned and domesticated a resource that does not need land, does not need pesticide, is unlikely to fly or swim away, and guess what? Seaweed, you don't even need to water them. So that's cool. And when talking about seaweed, also just to mention, it's a very, very wide range of organisms. Seaweed are the oldest living organism on the planet. They are 2 billion years old, around algae in general. But they are very diversified as well. It all started with the green and the red algae back 2 billion years ago. And then 500 million years ago only, the green seaweed moved on land and gave birth to the entire vegetation you see around you today. So typically today, a green seaweed is closer to an oak tree or to a strawberry, genetically speaking, than it is to a red seaweed. The difference between a red seaweed and a green seaweed is bigger than the difference between a fungi and an elephant. So we are talking about something very, very rich. So it means that this wide range of genetic diversity offers an equally wide range of applications. So seaweed, what for? Well, you can use seaweed as a source of food, obviously. It's a nutritional bomb. It's packed with nutrients, proteins, zinc, vitamin B12, iodine, all the fatty acids, all the precious fatty acids, and so forth. In Japan, seaweed is eaten daily, and we know that it does contribute there to enable these people to experience the longest life expectancy and the lowest level of cancer, diabetes, obesity, and cardiovascular disease in the world. So it does contribute to keep you healthy. It will also be very handy to transport because once dried, seaweed keep all the exceptional nutrients and does not need any cold chain or whatsoever, and it can be kept for months, if not years. So it's a very good news for our climate and the emerging population. Okay, but you may say, okay, I'm not going to eat that. You know, I want to stick to my T-bone steak. Well, it's not a good idea, but still fine. Let's feed our animal with seaweed then. It can be a very, very, very strong source of solution as an animal feed with exceptional benefits. And we have no time, unfortunately, to go into that. It can be a very good substitute to fertilizers, which might be, at the moment, the biggest potential for seaweed. Substitute the chemical fertilizers with organic fertilizers out of seaweed and create a really circular economy, reconnecting the land and the ocean. Use the ocean to collect all the nutrients that are dumped into the ocean somehow and move them back on land through the seaweed. China has started to do that. They will be neutral in phosphate in 5 years' time. We will keep paying more and more, higher and higher price on phosphate. But it's not only that, and I see you may be skeptical and say, but so seaweed can be a source of many, many solutions. We all know when talking about waste, we all know about the plastic pollution. Well, guess what? Seaweed can be a very good source of plastic substitute. So here with me, I have an edible bubble of plastic because it's made of seaweed. So you have olive oil in there. So obviously you can open it, put it in your salad when you go for picnic, and then you can throw it away because it's compostable, it's biodegradable, and it's edible. That was awarded the best innovation of the year to replace plastic last year by the Prince William and the Earthshot Prize. So this book is a unique edition, and the cover is made of seaweed. This is my book, The Seaweed Revolution. So actually you can read the book and eat the cover afterwards. So you can replace cotton, you can replace many other things, but more importantly, you can restore biodiversity in the ocean. We have destroyed 50% of the biodiversity in the ocean over the last 50 years. It's time to repair it, and the best way, if you want to repair your house, you're not going to start with the roof, you're going to start with the bases, with the first level, with the first floor. The first floor of life on this planet is seaweed. So if you want to repair the planet, start with algae and seaweed. That's the best way. And actually, it will also sequester a lot of carbon. It will decarbonize the economy, replacing fertilizers, replacing plastic, reducing methane emission as a source of animal feed. But it will also sequester carbon in the deep ocean. Seaweed can grow very fast. I mean, I was in Chile a few weeks ago and diving in seaweed forests. These seaweed forests, they are growing of 40 centimeters a day, up to 60 meters high. So we are talking about real forest. And they are sequestering carbon in the deep ocean for thousands, if not millions of years, because there's no bacteria to release the carbon in the deep ocean, or very little. So that's a very strong solution. I was at COP to discuss this, and we are progressing quite well. But you know, you don't lead a revolution without tackling social injustice. And seaweed is also a very good source of revenue and job in coastal population, notably for women, in the very place where fishing resource is decreasing and will disappear. So once again, it ticks all the boxes. Seaweed may well be the greatest untapped resource we have on this planet. So what could we do for that? The first thing is to start eating seaweed, create a market for them. There are a few farms starting in the UK, very little, a couple of them. If we don't create a market, they will never exist. The solution will never exist. Each time we eat and we drink, we vote for the world we want tomorrow. We are all environmental activists 3 times a day. Start eating seaweed to change this world. I mean, that's the first thing. And seaweed is a great source of hope somehow. And I think also that I have no benefit. I'm not supporting seaweed out of any benefit. I'm here because I am here with my son, actually, within this room, and I have 2 other one at home. And I think we keep feeding the next generation, our kids, with fears and drama way too much. We should feed them with solutions and hopes. And I think seaweed is a great, great source of hope. I think if we learn how to farm the ocean, this next generation will not be remembered as the COVID generation, as the climate change generation. They will be remembered as the first generation on this planet who managed to feed the entire world while mitigating climate change, while restoring biodiversity, while alleviating poverty. I do believe they can be remembered as such, but they will need all of us here. So for you all, I hope that this seaweed revolution will start here and today. Thank you very much.